What's up, everybody? We're going live here in 1 second. All right. All right. Let's see. So we are now live. Hey, how's it going, Angie? Everybody on Periscope. For those that are watching on Fire Talk, so it is. So you can broadcast. This one is using your web camera. Is what I'm using in my computer. And so I'm actually using this on screen. Yes. And so you're going to be able to, I'll be able to split screen somebody that is a viewer. So let's see how this works. I'm going to invite my guest, Vincenzo Landino, and let's see how this works. So Vincenzo's getting a pop-up on his computer, and hey, look at that guy.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, does my mic work on this thing?
It does. Microphone check. I can hear you. Oh, no, wait, hold on. No, I can't. Look at the top of Chrome. Can you hear mine?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, sweet. So I'm using my podcast.
Hear mine now?
Nope.
So do I have to refresh?
Oh, yeah, maybe you have to refresh. Just like
invite me in or.
All right. Boom. All right, so he's going to refresh real quick. So what I think this, for me, I'm looking at this from a way of using this kind of outside of Blab. It is embedded inside of a YouTube channel, which is nice as well for those that are YouTube aficionados. You can actually promote it to Facebook, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna promote that to Facebook. Yes. So if you see the address there, if you guys want to jump in the room, you can even jump on. I can test jumping different people in. The address is if you swipe left or right, you can actually see it's actually Fire Talk. If you want to screenshot that right there, firetalk.com/isocialtalks with an S on the end. But I put it in the title of the Periscope. But I wanted to bring Periscope audience in. I don't believe that everybody needs to be on every app. I also don't believe every app is for everyone. But I'm the guy that embraces the FOMO, so you don't have to. So I get to test this out. Yes, the bearded Max. How's it going? So let's see. We have a live chat here on the side. So I just talked right before. Oh, very cool. How's it going? So Tasman, you just did yours before. Hopefully you had a good value. So yeah, to me, it's comparing it to Blab, right? So this is a different interface. It is a one-to-one, so it's just a two-person interview. I can tell you the quality of the camera is actually far superior. Since Brian's on the computer, does that mean he can't block me? No, I'm watching here as well. Malia's in the house. How's it going, Malia? So for me, this is very similar to the Cameo feature that if you're familiar with Meerkat. That's a good question. Can it be private? I don't know if it can be private. I don't know if that was in one of the settings. I will check and ask. So I will ask that question for you guys that are asking if it can be private. I don't know if it can be private or not. I do see that there are 13 people viewing it here in the room. So thank you guys for jumping in the room. So yeah, it would be very nice if it was, yeah, we'll ask if, yes. So it says, yes, that's private. So there's an unlisted setting that allows you to do it private. It says doctors here in my comments. So that is a nice piece. Not need Slack anymore. Oh, I still use Slack. So for me, I'm not trying to replace Blab, but what I'm trying to do is understand the quality output. Hey, Jeff's in the house. What's up, Jeff? How big of an audience user pool does this app have? I don't know, actually. I haven't been on the app very long. For me, I was struggling to find a use case for it until I heard about this feature. So you can connect it to your YouTube channels. So anybody that visits this page can do that. One of the things that I really like about this is, here, let me invite my boy Vincenzo back, is that my URL never changes. So I can tell everybody that if, it's not like on Periscope that someone has to have a brand new URL. Every single time I every time I Fire Talk, it goes from the same exact URL, which is firetalk.com/isocialtalks, which is the name of my channel that I actually set this up. So can I hear you now, Mr. Vincenzo? Yes, we are good.
Cool. I'm on Periscope as well. I got about 15 people watching.
Nice.
We are we're going to be talking to the Periscopers, the Scopers. They said this looks like Blab, and I said it kind of does.
It's interesting. And so it's limiting you to two. It's embedded in a YouTube iframe. which is nice. The community chat is just like on Blab, where you have the community chat on there as well. There's a couple of things that I like so far from a unique perspective. When you're not broadcasting, your channel is still live, and when people visit it, you can tell them what they watch, either your existing Fire Talks, or if you visited this channel before I went live today, you actually get to watch my Periscope Summit keynote.
I like that. That was a really cool feature. So for those of you that weren't watching this feed before I started it, that are watching here on my Periscope, Brian actually had a keynote of his playing as a almost like a commercial in between his Fire Talk sessions, which is really cool because that allows you to promote something else. People can come back to the 24/7 channel. They tune into a channel like the television as opposed to tuning into a specific show link. So the channel's always the same, and they can view whatever. Now, you can still schedule programming, correct?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And,
so
and it has the channel updates down below. So what it allows you to do, and Malia, who's on here, full disclosure, I downloaded Fire Talk at the same time I had My Eye, and I had a lot of different products, and I couldn't figure out a use case for it. I didn't understand the channel aspect. But for Enzo, you do a podcast. I do Twitter chat shows. The idea of having one landing page, one URL, one show, a little Dunkin' Donuts promotion there, for me is important. The other thing I love about this is they went HD quality video and sound. So the picture quality, is I think actually far superior than what Blab has done. I have heard about people uploading it and comparing it to Blab audio, and the audio quality here was also done. So you can split screen. I see Robin Baldwin is here. Very clear video, very clear audio, which is impressive, which, the YouTube lovers out there, one of the issues with a lot of these other tools is when you upload it to YouTube, the quality is bad, the structure, the shrinking four squares instead of having it, dynamic. So like Enzo, I can imagine as soon as this is posted live to YouTube, it's directly in that YouTube frame. They're getting the exact same quality that they're getting live. And that's a big piece because the evergreen side. Is the picture recorded in the same shape as shown on the screen? That's correct. It is. So history needs you. It is this exact same frame in here. So yes, it is something, there are some YouNow lovers that are in here. I've actually been playing a little bit on YouNow over the last couple of days for a couple different reasons. I have a YouNow influencer that wants me to do some work with them. And YouNow, has an amazing community. And a lot of people in my chat have asked, what's the user base here? And no, it is only doing two people, but I can jump Enzo out and add anybody else out in. The only caveat is you have to be watching right now on the browser to come in as a split screen. So you can be watching this on the app, on the Fire Talk app, but to come in on the split screen today, you have to use only on the browser. Do they give you the video and audio like Blab? Yes, they do. So it is actually, you can even set it up to automatically add to a playlist on YouTube. So if you guys look at my YouTube, I have a new playlist that I just created called Fire Talk Shows. And as soon as this is done, it'll actually automatically be uploaded into that piece with the same video quality and the same audio. So there is mobile on this. You can engage in the chat in mobile and watch on mobile. You just can't jump in as the split screener on mobile. That's the limitation right now.
Gotcha. Okay. So you have to be. Hey, you know what though? I really like the being on the desktop. It gives you the feel, the vibe of an actual show, and it allows you to I have a full screen on my computer right now, which is better than anything else I've tested out. The only thing is I don't see the clear integration with Twitter other than the share buttons here.
So I think anybody can hit the share. Unfortunately, it opens up another tab, which kind of takes over the screen. So it'd be nice if that was more of a pop-up, or I could see who actually
share. Yeah,
you can hit share, and it actually.
Well, it opens up the pop-up.
Right. Oh, it opened up. Oh, because I have it in full screens. That's why it opened up as a tab. How many people are currently watching?
Not bad though.
I have 27 viewers on Fire Talk right now at the moment. Like I said, this is the very first Fire Talk stream I've actually ever done. So those that are tuning in and checking audience comparisons, I have 58 on Periscope. I have 27 that are currently watching live on Fire Talk. I don't know how many of them came over from other channels. For me, one of the big things, Enzo, and we talk a lot about storytelling. I never have said, and here's I have the Blab love. I got my stickers going on there. I've said for a long time, Blab is a great complement to Meerkat and Periscope. It does not compete with.
Yeah.
I think Fire Talk is the competitor with the Blab, but it is still complementing to Periscope and Meerkat in the sense that when we have a team at the auto show right now, right? Ryan A. Bell and a bunch of those guys are at the auto show in LA. They're not using Fire Talk to bring in people there, but what they could be doing is they could be at the auto show and then afterwards doing a recap show, interviewing maybe the one of the car manufacturers or someone bringing in there. But the audio quality and the video quality, when I did my first demo one with the Fire Talk team, blew me away in the audio video quality that we're seeing right now.
It's funny. Jeff Goldberg says he's in my Periscope, and he said the irony: live video streaming, and now everyone prefers desktop. Live mobile streaming, and now everyone prefers desktop.
Yeah, it's so funny. We all were screaming to have mobile live streaming, and then all of a sudden, once we did, we were like, well, we like our web camera better, and we like sitting in our chair, and we don't like having to have a tripod. And
well, that's that. You know what? So that, you know what that tells me is that television still hasn't gone away. The people wanting to sit and watch TV still hasn't gone away. You know, when live mobile streaming came out, or when it became big with Meerkat and then Periscope earlier on in the year, everybody was like, oh my God, I don't even have to watch TV anymore. I can just sit here and watch on my phone. And people were like, oh, I'm going to, Netflix and HBO Go and all these other things. I could just watch from my phone. I could just watch from my iPad or whatever. And, to me, it was funny. It was almost comical that people thought that was really going to happen, that TV was just going to go away. A technology that makes so much money, a technology that's been around for many, many years, 70 plus years, is just going to go away because now everyone wants to watch on their phone. I mean, I love having the opportunity and the ability to do things from this little device right here, but I would never give up my TV. I would never give up my 50-inch television, whatever, and that experience.
That's like I said, that anybody that actually thought that someone was going to watch a hockey game from some fan's phone and not pay for the NHL ticket is ridiculous. Now, we have had a couple questions coming on my side right now. People are asking what app this is. This is Fire Talk. It's been around since My Eye came out. I think they both came out kind of right around the same time as My Eye. This feature is a new premium feature that they have for their desktop users. I have no idea. Malia is asking. I love Malia. Malia is one of the best scoper, meerkatters, blabbers out there. She is just a kind, genuine, smart. Her smile brightens my day every time I'm on one of her streams. She has asked the question and even threatened to troll my feed and asking for the user base numbers on Fire Talk. I have no clue, Malia, not a clue at all. I believe user base is actually about educating your user base where they're at today. Remember, let's put this in perspective. My Meerkat audience is bigger than my Periscope. Enzo, you're the same, right?
My Meerkat audience is God, it's like some ridiculous amount bigger than my Periscope audience. But you know what? And I was I met with someone this morning, a friend of mine who runs an event planning business here in Connecticut, and we were trying to see how we could benefit each other's businesses. And I've been trying to get her on to social media in general. And she's like, I want to do Periscope finally. I've been watching you enough. And I've been watching all this other stuff on Periscope. So now she's going to do a regularly scheduled programming on it. And I totally forgot my train of thought. I forgot why I just said what I said.
I don't know.
What did you say? What did you say before I jumped in?
I said something about user base.
Oh, user base. Right. And she's like, well, I have no followers. I said, it doesn't matter. You don't need the followers because that's why you utilize Twitter, Facebook, you're sharing your network. I'm like, if you have great content, you'll get found. I was like, so worry about producing great content, really cool stuff. So as an event planner, she's going to start going into really cool wedding venues that they do work in. She's going to show them off. I mean, she goes to these gorgeous places all over the East Coast. And I'm like, go in, show them off, do question and answers with vendors, top 5 tip or top 5 questions to ask your photographer, like things like that. People will watch. It doesn't matter how many followers you have because once it gets shared. So I don't think people should be worried about, I only have 10 subscribers, or I only have 5 subscribers, or I only have this many subscribers. By promoting and hit these little sharing buttons here. So for those of you watching on Periscope, these little sharing buttons here, those are golden. Focus. This is when live streaming, mobile live streaming really broke out earlier this year. it never took away from the need to build your presence on Twitter, Facebook, and more so your email list and your website and your content there.
You know what? I would actually even argue that it actually made it more important.
Absolutely.
Because I will tell every person this: if you are trying to be an influencer, monetize or grow and leverage live streaming, every single brand is asking me one question when I'm pitching them. Where are these people engaging and providing value to their audience when they are not live streaming? Yep. And that goes for someone that live streams 15 times a day and someone that live streams once a day. You have to have somewhere where you're building a community and an audience. I don't care where it's at. Somebody sent me an email today because they read my blog post and said, Brian, I'm building a Pinterest page and with a ton of engagement on Pinterest where I'm trying to make that my home. I said, that's great. I love that idea. Pinterest has comments on pictures. You can embed your videos. So for me, to your point, Enzo, if you have a big email distribution list, if you have a big Facebook page, this is great because I don't need a big following on Fire Talk. I need quality, great content. And then what I will do is I will embed it. I will upload it. I will educate them on how they can participate in this. Cool. The other thing I do like about this is they don't have to send them a link. If they want to go back and watch my videos, they come to the same channel landing page every single time. So I made this channel landing page, iSocial Talks, which was a podcast that I, with just me ranting. And really, if someone wants to come back anytime, they don't have to go to like my profile page. I also like that it's more about the channel, less about the person. Right. So like you're subscribing, like let's say I created a separate channel for Cloud Talk. Absolutely. And that way they don't have to subscribe to Brian Fanzo and hear me talk about personal branding and live streaming. The only thing they want to subscribe to is cloud computing conversation. Yep. So to me, that is pretty cool. So I see some people subscribing so you can subscribe to a channel. I also saw there's gifts down there. So I think that's kind of like feels. You can give people a gift.
It costs money.
They do have a private mode. They do have a private mode so you can actually say, don't promote this publicly. But yeah, I think it's a great point. So Enzo, I mean, what are your thoughts? We both have bigger followings on Meerkat than Periscope. We both are not using Meerkat near as much or at all as we used to do that. What are your thoughts on just because everyone's asking the question, what's the future of live streaming? My answer every time is I have no freaking clue. But I actually believe it comes down to community and storytelling, which are both always going to grow. They're always going to be needed. But what are your thoughts on these other apps and like Fire Talk? Because I actually think that it's nice and refreshing to see something like this because you know where they're separating their game at. Yes, they might be similar to Blab, but not everybody's on Blab at the moment. Not everybody's on Periscope. But they're separating their game on quality of video, quality of audio, landing page with a videos embedded, and the YouTube integration. That could be a lot of value for a lot of brands that didn't see the value in the 4 other tools that you and I use on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, you said so much there in that sentence, but I'll try to answer the question.
What's new? I was just on your podcast and we talked for under 30 minutes somehow. Check out his podcast, by the way. His most recent episode, I talk about how live streaming can be used for employee advocacy. It's called Brand Boost. Check it out. I subscribe to it. I don't miss an episode. I even listen to my own episode, which is rare. And he gave me a surprise, which I have to say publicly. I love the sneak peek surprise at the end of the episode. But if you guys haven't listened to it, you don't get to find out what the sneak peek is. So we'll listen to that whole episode. It's 30 minutes. And the last minute, Enzo gives me a really cool surprise.
Kristen Carlos, I want to try to. You're on fire. For the record, I said you're on fire. Oh, what is this? John Lee Dumas's podcast? Well, Fire Nation. Anyway,
such a tease.
I know, right? Well, I'm interviewing John Lee Dumas on Blab tomorrow, so that'll be cool.
Nice. Congrats.
So no, here's the thing. I think that Fire Talk is. I love the fact that it, like you said, the channel, and now I can promote a channel, much like I could promote HBO or I could promote. CNN, whatever it may be, CNN Money, like you said, iSocial Talks, but then I might have iSocial Talks live streaming, iSocial Talk, there's different things you can talk about. So I think that's great for the community. Again, it goes back to the community, right? It goes back to the storytelling. This helps segment what you're talking about. And instead of throwing, like for me personally, I have my Brand Boost podcast, which is my forward-facing show for my agency, 52 Creative, right? So that's out there as something we give back to our client, or we do for our clients, and we give back to our audience as value add, right? But it all goes under my name, Vincenzo Landino. So if someone's interested in branding, they're still, like you said, they're following Vincenzo Landino. But how about if they want to watch one of my entrepreneur shows that I interview entrepreneurs? Well, they're coming to Vincenzo Landino. It would be nice because then I can promote each channel individually. And really that's where like the full social play comes in, advertising, creating videos and whatnot for specific channels. I can have specific channels just sitting here as a commercial all day until I do a show, showing off what I do in the entrepreneur space, what I do in the brand space, what I'm doing in whatever spaces those are. So I like it. I think this would be very, very cool. Again, you still need the community to come over.
Well, and I think, the reason I have 8 Twitter accounts, right? I have 8 personal Twitter accounts. I actually now have shrunk it down to 5 that I actually leverage because I have a Pittsburgh Steelers one, right? I have one that was only talking about millennial topics. I have one that was only social media. I had one that was only technology. I had one that was only poker, because I wanted them to subscribe to the content and value I could provide. I didn't want them to have to subscribe to one brand. Now, granted, that definitely shifts your focus. I have 50,000 followers on iSocial Fans. I have 4,000 on Pittsburgh. Yeah. But I can tell you, I tweeted the exact same thing from the Steeler game to my 50,000 followers on iSocial Fans as I did on Pittsburgh Fans. Twice as much engagement on Pittsburgh Fans about a Pittsburgh. I was like, hey, I'm live at the event. I'm about to go live on Periscope. Who wants to watch me live from the Steeler game? Even though I had 50,000 people on iSocial Fans and 4,000 on Pittsburgh, my audience is channel focused to where they know that they're following me on Pittsburgh Fans because that's what they want. iSocial Fans, that isn't as big, as major a focus. And so 4,000 actually trumped 50,000. So to me, that's what this idea of a channel is actually pretty important when it comes to that side.
Yeah, and I mean, Fire Talk had the channel. They did that earlier when I was testing Fire Talk. They had the channel concept before. So to me, it was awesome because you could push it out to YouTube after as well, right? I love that. When I hear things like YouTube, that means number 2 search engine in the world. That triggers like all sorts of things going on in my head.
I hear YouTube. I think of 3 names. It's like Amy, Sonny, and Nathan, right? Like I'm like Australia Wow, Sonny Leonard Doozy, and Savvy Sexy Social. Because I mean, YouTube is monetized. It's the number 2 search engine, like you said. And here's the thing: remember, not every one of these tools are for everybody. Enzo, you and I are kind of frontwards leading on trying to get on all of these things. But ultimately, I don't ever suggest anyone to have to do it on every app. I don't suggest everyone to understand every app. But we have to understand the value propositions. Because what if a brand comes to you and says, I love Blab, but I want it to be limited to 4 people. I would love the quality of the video to be perfect because I want to limit it to 2 people, but I want the quality to be perfect because I'm going to be playing the replay on a giant big screen at my convention.
Yeah.
If you recommend Blab to them without knowing that there is an alternative, the quality is not going to be, so we have to kind of understand swim lanes, understand the value. I do like the on-air clock that's right here.
Yep. Because
one of the things that really gets happening on Blab is you don't realize it until you're 2 hours and 10 minutes into a show and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of little features that I see on Fire Talk here that I like. Again, it's another new tool. And with all these new tools coming out in rapid succession, I think we have to be wary, whatever, as marketers, to not overload our customers and say, you have to be on this one. And Brian, I completely agree with you. We need to be testing these things, but it becomes like, another tool, and it dilutes what we're actually doing. If all we can do, this is what I see with a lot of marketers, is that they just start to offer, there's Blab and there's as soon as Blab came out, everyone wanted to find a way to use Blab for brands. I'm like, whoa, slow your roll, because it's way different. It's a scheduled show. You can't just do a Blab and come on. And there's a lot of individuals that I was telling not to use Blab. I'm like, you know what? You're not really cut out for it. I had a conversation with somebody in our space that wanted to use Blab but didn't want to co-host. And I said, why not? And they were like, it's all about me. I said, well, then Blab's not for you because it's actually going to be detrimental to your brand. So there's a lot of things you need to think about as marketers. Just because there's all these extra tools, think it, what is the word I'm looking for? Step back, take a look at them all. See, like Brian says, and Brian's the best at this, the best at jumping on board, testing the crap out of them, and then knowing the difference. But see, there's a difference between doing that and then just jumping on for the sake of jumping on. All right.
Or not jumping on and hating it because you don't understand it.
Right.
Right. And like, that's something that drives me batshit crazy.
Well,
I get in an argument on Facebook about Google Hangouts versus Blab, and I go and look out, and they've never signed up for a Blab account. Yeah. So don't tell me that I'm wrong on my assumption of comparing the two apps when I've tested both of them. You're only looking at it from one lens. That's another thing that drives
me. And something you said early or very early on that stuck with me was when you download these apps, delete the other ones. Use one for like a month if you have to. Not everyone is Brian Fanzo or me that I can use the app and not like say, oh, forget it. I'm getting too scared. I'm just going to go back to what works. If you really want to be one of these people that tests apps and knows what they're talking about, take Brian's advice. Use one app for an entire month or 2 weeks, something for an extended period of time. Don't just use it once, say this sucks and get off. Use it. Abuse it. All right? Be a viewer, be a broadcaster, sit back and comment, add value, and then you can make, then you can go ahead and talk about, well, this work. It's like with Snapchat. And I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's like with Snapchat. All these new media marketers that are coming out of the woodworks, but yet they're scared of all this new technology and they don't know how to recommend it because they're not using it. So I like what you said. This is fantastic because now I can take this and I can put this on YouTube and it's going to render way better than a Blab will. I don't want a square. I want a 16:9 ratio. I don't want the 4:3 ratio, which is what they give you with Blab. Or actually, I think it's a perfect square, isn't it? Isn't it a 1:1?
Yep, 1:1.
I don't want that. I don't want a 1:1. I want the 16:9 ratio. So that's what this is giving me.
You know what? Here's a secret for everybody that's watching and that's thinking that is in the live streaming community. I've switched my pitch and my value when I go to brands, and guess what I never talk about? The apps. So my pitch to a brand does not bring up the app until the end of the conversation. And it's weird, but I actually talk to them and say, do you want to connect better with your community? Do you want to become more authentic? Do you want to tell your story? Do you want to build a digital audience?
Yep.
And when I break all that down, they go, okay, yes. Okay, what are we going to do? Okay, well, here's the apps. Let's figure out where your audience is. Let's figure out what your pain points are. Let's figure out what success looks like. I don't even talk about the technology because the technology, like you said, is going to scare so many people. I don't want to get on Periscope. But when they realize the experience they're able to enable, create, or have for their audience, bam, they're good at it. So, and so I think you have to go leave, right? You have to get out of here for branding.
I got a couple minutes. I want to make a point about that too. Yep. I remember early on when you and I were both trying to pitch brands on which apps to use and whatnot. We had that side-by-side comparison and we're like, do you want these features? Boom, 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 boom. People are like, yeah. I want that feature. I want that feature. I want that feature. And it's like, all right, well, that's Meerkat. And they're like, what? And it's funny because everyone assumed just because Periscope was owned by Twitter that Meerkat had no integration with Twitter, when in fact it had better integration with Twitter, So like keep an eye on some of these smaller apps coming out. I know Nathan Haig, Australia Wowcast will be dropping soon. I don't know exactly when, but I've had the pleasure of jumping on and testing that with him. Very, very cool. A lot of other features in that. So keep an eye on that. Don't be fooled just because a brand like, they're integrated with Twitter. Now, granted, Periscope and Twitter, that relationship is huge. So you can't ignore it. It becomes one of those like elephants in the room when you talk about live streaming. But don't not test out any of these other things because, first of all, you sound ignorant as a marketer if you can only recommend one product to your customer. And I think you cannot tell a proper story. If we want to relate this back to storytelling and authenticity, if you don't know the ins and outs of all these, you can never give a full story. So I don't know. That's my plan.
I love it. I also think, and this is a pet peeve of mine, to prove that you love something does not mean you have to hate the other thing.
Right.
And if you do, if anybody tells me, I'm an Apple fanboy, Brian Fanzo, Apple fanboy, the reason it says I social fans with lowercase I is because the I products like iPhone and iPad, I built my Twitter handle off of an Apple side, but I love Android. And that pisses off people because they're like, how is that possible? And I said, last time I checked, how do you tell me that Android is no good if you've never used it? You're only looking at it from your own lens. So I also look at it and say, I can love Blab for one value proposition, one use case. I can love Fire Talk for one use case. You know, our friend Brian Kramer is in the room right now. Brian Kramer uses Google Hangouts still because he likes to put it behind a landing page for his shows. Well, maybe this could actually sit behind a landing page with a private link where people only can get the link there. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's moving away from the Google buy-in, the Google adoption problems, and then slowly meeting that user case. So for me, no, this is at Fire Talk. So for those that are joining on Periscope, it is firetalk.com/iSocialTalks. Or if you swipe left, I actually put it in the title of my Periscope for you guys so you can jump on here. Right now we have 40 viewers on Fire Talk. I have 50 on Periscope at the moment. Of course,
I like how the URL doesn't change at all either. Like it's firetalk.com/iSocialTalks. Done. Simple.
Yep. And then the nice part is as soon as I end this, I get to decide, does it show other YouTube videos, my keynotes? Does it show even my customer or client videos? Does it show my Fire Talk videos? It can even show my Periscope and Blabs. Because my first thought when I saw that, I said, ooh, I could auto-upload my Periscopes. And my Periscopes that are previews of my Fire Talk shows could be the trailers. Could be the trailer beforehand because now that trailer is going to see there. So I agree the Blab chat room is really nice. How is this different than Blab that people are asking? For me, it's a lot about quality of video, quality of audio. It's only 2 people, not 4, which is good or bad, whichever way you want to skin it. The individual landing page to me is important. Yeah. I love that the URL will never change. People can subscribe to a channel, not subscribe to an individual. The chat, of course, you can't direct reply to people. There's lots of, to me, when I look at new tools, when I'm comparing them, I look at the holistic view and the use cases and the experience. I don't complain that I can't direct message somebody. I can't share it with a GIF going on. Well, you couldn't share it with a GIF going on Blab until the Blab audience took off, and that was a week ago. Like, for me, even on Meerkat and Periscope, and I still compare them today, I don't say, well, Periscope sucks, you can't do Cameo. I say one of the advantages of Meerkat is you have the ability to cameo in someone for 60 seconds. On Periscope, you don't have that ability. That's the piece. It's not, this sucks versus this because it doesn't have something.
Different use cases, that's all.
Yep. No, this is awesome.
I actually have to go record an episode of the Brand Boost podcast.
What was that podcast you said? What's it called?
The Brand Boost podcast.
All right, I will make sure people check out the Brand Boost. Thank you, Vincenzo Landino. Oh, that's a great question. So those that are coming in here asking about Zoom.us. So Zoom.us, I still look at it Zoom as the best of the worst when it comes to webinar software. Zoom to me is still webinar software in the sense of it's not socially integrated, socially channeled, and bridging my social audience. So that's kind of what I look at too. So let's see, people that are in the room right now, I don't know if Mitch Jackson or someone that's on, you have to be on your desktop. But if you're on your desktop, I can invite you in and you can split screen and test this out. Let me know your thoughts. So tell me, there we go. Let's see. And remember, my point here is just to kind of test it out. Wow, there's a lot of users here. All right, I'm going to invite Mr. Leslie on. Let's see. Oh, that's not working for some reason. Hold on. Yeah, for those that are watching on Periscope, that's weird. It's not letting me, it has a X next. Oh, maybe you're not subscribed to my channel. Mitch and Leslie, subscribe to the channel. And I think then it'll allow me. So I can't invite you. Yep, there it goes. So I can't invite you unless you're subscribed to the channel. Oh, that's pretty good. That's an interesting aspect. I didn't understand. Zoink. Yeah, I know.
Live and learn, right?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Mitch?
That's so cool. Yeah. Okay. So I subscribed like you just asked us to. And then there was another buffer where once again, I had to accept going live with you. So that's kind of cool. Brian, quick question. Can you initiate a Fire Talk from your mobile device? Or is it?
So you can, but you can't initiate the side-by-side video. So the side-by-side aspect of it only exists if it's webcam to webcam, but it is a live streaming on the mobile side as well. So the split screen is just on their premium feature, and the premium feature is linked to using your web camera. I believe it's probably because they're really focused on video and audio quality, which we can tell. Like even Mitch, you and I do a lot of blabs together. The quality of the video between the two of us is extremely superior. And Steven, I see that you said none of the live streams are loading on video on mobile. I don't know why that is. I will definitely ping them and ask them about that, because that's weird. I was watching. I have engaged and watched on that side as well. So
and Brian, just real quick. So just for those of us that came in a little bit late, because I just finished up Periscope and I saw yours. I clicked on real quick. Just some of the major differences you've seen. Let's just say between this and Blab, for those of us just joining.
So, this came out around My Eye time. The same My Eye came out right when I kind of discovered Blab around the same time. Okay. So the URL here is firetalk.com. If you're on Periscope, swipe left. It's actually in the title of my Periscope, so you guys can see it there. But it is a landing page for my channel. So it's actually firetalk.com/iSocialTalks. So actually one of the things out of the gate is that you create a channel. People subscribe to the channel, not to the individual, right? So the idea here is that this landing page and URL never changes. When I'm not live, I actually get to determine if I want what kind of YouTube videos or playlists on my YouTube do I want playing as the trailer when I'm not live. And then you can see below the video, that channel update is what I'm able to post, so you guys can get updates and things I can post when I'm going live and those kind of things. So I can promote the URL. People can watch my replays. The app's been out for a while. This feature, actually, they approached me and said, "Hey, Brian, we love how you're using live streaming, love all the things you're doing. We would love it if you would kind of embrace this." They just went live with it today. The press release went out this morning. And I said, I of course, love and suffer from FOMO. And I said, let's try it out. I did a kind of a dry one yesterday. Bad. Yes, I know. I know it's funny, like the whole room, everybody who's in here is like all my FOMO friends. Dave and Deanna just jumped in. So that's one of that's a couple of pieces. You can promote it to Facebook and Twitter as a pop-up. It does have the live chat. It gives you some channel updates. It is limited to 2 people, and we have now figured out that you can view it, but you have to be subscribed to the channel before I can invite you on screen. And also, unlike Blab, you can join via your mobile device as one of the split screens. Here, you both have to be on web camera on your computer to join. And
does this allow you to do a private Fire Talk?
You can. So you can do a private Fire Talk where it does not promote the URL. You then just share that individual unique URL with whoever you want. Therefore, it's not promoted or public for anyone to search to. And the other nice part about that is because the channel is what they're subscribing to, I love that idea that the URL doesn't change. Like we can make my Blab graphics instead of saying, go to Blab and search hashtag SBizHour to get every one of our SBizHour shows. I can have that URL on my graphic and say, hey, go to that graphic, go to this URL for this channel every single time.
So I'm on my way home yesterday, and Mike Byers, who's one of the California police officers that you've seen on Blab, called me and was telling me about this platform that the head of the LA County Police Department or Sheriff's Department, who handles 27 different social media accounts, just told him about this platform. So Mike was reaching out going, Mitch, you got to check this out. I'm trying to drive home, trying to pay attention to driving. But this is what he was talking about. So the buzz is already picking up. Let's let some other people jump in. I'll hop out. I don't know how to.
I got you. I think it's the same. There's a little X on the top right there. So, all right. I think Leslie wanted to jump in. I do like that there's a search for the user base. So which is kind of nice that I can search for the user when I'm trying to add them rather than me having to go find their individual name. So yes, this is the split screen for those who are tuning in. This is Fire Talk. If you swipe left on Periscope, you can actually check out the URL. Leslie, what's up, my friend?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Nice to see you jumping in. A little bit of FOMO time here.
I saw this picture that you posted on Twitter. And I'm like, this doesn't look like Blab. What in the world is going on?
I think that might have been a lot of people, especially like jumping in different areas. They're even used to, I have Periscope going. My Periscope audience is even used to me Periscoping a Blab. Yeah. But I'm sure they look on there like, wait a second, how did the Blab just go side by side and the audio quality or the video and audio kind of get amplified? But yeah, this is definitely.
Oh my word! Look at the video quality for real.
Video quality is amazing. I mean, that the first second I was on with their head of community when we did a test run, like my eyes were just like, wow, I did not expect my web camera to be that, because I'm so used to using it with Blab every day that I was blown away in the sense of the quality.
So I'm curious about what the main platform you feel that you're going to be using for nurturing community. I mean, of course, you're using multiple platforms, but do you see yourself using Blab and this and Periscope and Meerkat and all these different? What are you thinking?
So I think there's actually, for me, it's I kind of speak in twofold. I think of what Brian Fanzo, iSocial Fans, is using, and then how I'm going to advise it for brands, right? And so for me, Periscope is to me the universal. Periscope to me is what Twitter is to my social networks. So Twitter to me is the vein and the lifeline that keeps my, I integrate that as my live conversation that exists that connects my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Google Plus, all of those audiences. But Twitter is like kind of my home buzz. I think Periscope will always be my first person, my voice, my story, my unique experiences. But when I'm driving someone to the collaboration aspect, I do love the 4-person of Blab, right? So for me, the quality of video and audio for an individual purpose, I'm willing to suffer with that for some of the features that Blab has. But I will tell you from the IBM event that I ran last week for running their Periscope, one of their limitations was I shot everything on Periscope widescreen, because now that we have that on widescreen, because they're uploading it to YouTube. And they said, well, we don't really want you to do it on a Blab because we want it to be proportional for our YouTube channel. So for that case, I actually think I would probably drive them to Fire Talk because it keeps it proportional. We could do it 2-person instead of 4, which is a little bit more limited. But I actually think for me, for my brands, I will bob and weave. But for me individually, still at this moment, and we'll see, because at this exact second, this is my very first Fire Talk this feature. So it's a great question. I love the ability of Periscope to tell a story, have a conversation, and do it in such a world open idea, right? I don't have to educate someone. In my opinion, it posted my Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is posted to the world, right? The difference between Snapchat and Periscope, when I tell everybody, is someone has to have known you and subscribed to you to get your story. On Periscope, you don't have to subscribe to me or to follow me on Twitter. If you just happen to be searching or following a hashtag, or on the Periscope app, you swipe up on the map, or you're zooming in on Virginia, you can discover me from all of those areas on Periscope. So my global possibilities of connections, friends, relationships is so Periscope and Twitter have that same kind of feel for me. That's kind of how I play the two.
Gotcha. So one more question, and now I'll bounce out and somebody else can come in. Blab, I love Blab. I love the technology. I love the engagement that you can have in interacting with 4 people in a screen one time. I think it's awesome. Blab, yes, definitely. And obviously it's been doing very well with marketers. But what I'm finding is that they're not doing a very good job as of right now of getting it out to regular people. I'm on Blab right now, just in my other screen, and I see they have 32 Blabs going on at this moment. Now, that's not a lot. It almost seems as if, if I am fully embracing a Blab mentality right now, I am bringing my community along with me, as opposed to going there for discoverability. So do you see Blab being more of a thing where, hey, you have a community, you want to engage that community better, you bring them over there to that platform?
So I look at it, I actually think, and I think all of us marketers are actually propositioning or presenting Blab in the wrong way.
I think so too.
Instead, we're kind of forcing people to say, if you want to do this, you need to download this app or you need to go to this site. And I think that's the wrong way of doing it. I actually think let's start, and I use this term upcycle, but it's really like, let's start educating our audience where they're at and giving them a taste and giving them a feel of it and letting them know that this content exists and what the experience is like. Like for me, telling people I've had more conversations with Chris Brogan on Blab than I have in the time I've known Chris. And I went from a super fan to a proud freak to someone that sat in the front row of his keynotes to someone that was a friend and think of him as a mentor. Now, I even as a friend and mentor, I have had more access to Chris Brogan via Blab than I had ever before. Mm-hmm. And when I start telling people that, they're like, oh my goodness, I could have access to an author or a CEO or someone. And so I think we're actually presenting the value as in like, go try this new shiny object. I don't even talk to shiny object. Go figure out this way that you can have live, real content and have the conversation along with it. So like email newsletter. I mean, everyone that has an email newsletter, if you embed one of the Blabs in there and don't do the whole hour, right? Like shrink it down to like 10 minutes, give people a taste and then say, hey, and then we had these 10 people jump on too to ask their questions. People are going to go, what? Wait, I could have jumped on that. Let me go click on that. And that link takes them to the Blab replay. And then they watch a replay and it gives them a little bit of taste. But I think instead of educating them on our value of Blab, that right now we're still forcing them on a shiny object. And I mean, Brian Solis and I were going back and forth on Twitter today. You guys can look at the thing, but I mean, he was really adamant that people look at Periscope and jumped on it only because it was Periscope. And I couldn't agree more. Like, you know, we had a huge rise and spike, and then Periscope kind of leveled out, and it's rising a little bit more now because brands are getting in there. But I actually think it's rising again because now people are actually talking about it as the value and experience it creates, not the fact that it's a new app on their phone owned by Twitter.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting with these new platforms that are coming out, and when you compare it to things like Facebook and other platforms that have been around before, with many of those platforms, it's been a situation where the people were there, and then the marketers realized that the people are there, so the marketers started to come in. Where it seems as if with these newer platforms, it's like the marketers are seeing this new technology, and they're saying, man, this is awesome. We got to go and get all the people here.
Yep.
So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to see how things are changing. But man, I'm looking at the video and I'm amazed by the quality. I'm amazed. I love having the one URL, the channel URL for anything that's going on. And so,
I mean, think about that from Social Media Examiner perspective.
Yeah.
You promote the link every single time when that link's out there and you're not live, because this is my pet peeve. And I've been telling this to every Periscope influencer that wants to work with me on these projects that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I care just as much about their Periscope followers and engagement as I do their value they can provide when they're not on live stream. And right now, everyone's like someone has 600,000 followers on Periscope, yet they haven't engaged or replied to a tweet ever. And I don't even care if it's Twitter. You can have a Facebook page, you can have somewhere, but I need to know when I'm presenting this to a brand and the value proposition that you have an audience that exists when you're not on live stream. And the fact that I can put a trailer, or I can put a video, or we can put the social media marketing model promo here. And anytime someone visits here, the first thing they see when they go to your channel is the video and playlist that you decide. So when you guys check this out, come to this exact URL after I'm off air, and it's my keynote from Periscope Summit is the video that you'll see, and also list the other videos that you can click of mine to watch, which will be this one here as a replay. But that ability to give someone a channel home, to me, is pretty impressive.
That's pretty sweet. It's like Blab comes to YouTube and all in one. So you have much more control. Sweet.
Yeah, which is very ironic because I'm going to Blab headquarters and Periscope headquarters tomorrow. I'm flying to San Francisco and I'm meeting with both of them tomorrow. So it's very funny how this whole world kind of comes together. But that's kind of my value. But yeah, thanks so much, Leslie, for jumping in.
No problem, man.
Yep, cheers, my friend. All right, I'm going to stick on for a couple more minutes before my call. Does anybody else want to get on here, kick the tires, ask your questions? Periscopers, if you're watching and you're still curious about this, feel free to ask questions there. I'm trying to kind of give everybody a chance to. Remember, if you want to jump on, you have to make sure that you actually are subscribing to my channel. So that's not my requirement. It's actually, it doesn't give me the option to invite you as a guest until you do that. So I'm new in your scope. Oh, welcome to my scope. Thanks so much for jumping in. Yeah, so my name is Brian Fanzo, better known as iSocialFans. How can I search for others on FireTalk? I am not sure. So FireTalk is a new app. It's been around for a couple months. It is on iOS at the moment. And the limitation here for what we're doing is that you can only do the side-by-side. So what we're doing right now, it can only happen side-by-side if you're doing web camera to web camera. How's it going, Kerry?
Hey, it's going great. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear. Sounds
this
good.
is awesome, Brian. I love this tool already. I've been poking around trying to figure out, how do you change microphones and different things like that. But I can see this being an amazing thing for side-by-side interviews. This is just the coolest thing.
No, I agree, and and it's funny because you're a Periscope expert as well. Living on the Periscope space, we've both done like the Skype interviews,
right?
And we've done like kind of the integrating of these different channels to add additional value. The quality of it is an important piece that we've all kind of struggled with. We do once we got landscape, we got a little bit better quality because we get the wide angle and we don't have to use all these clips and things that go on it. But it's interesting. I still, little limitations here and there, the way that it's promoted, the idea that you can't, reply in the chat. But it's interesting, and I think it's growing. I think this is a smart feature ad because I think it's one of those things where there was the You Now and a lot of these channels that were web camera only, one talking to the world.
Right.
And just this ability to bring you in and bring, 3 different people in from around the world for us to have this conversation is a missing feature that Periscope just doesn't have for us. And able to do that here with a high quality, I think is pretty awesome.
I love this. The quality really is amazing. So I just see a lot of different uses for it. And, that's a struggle with Periscope when you want to bring a guest on. I see poor folks holding the iPad up on their shoulder, or they're showing the blab screen and maybe a couple of the boxes are blank. This side-by-side, one-on-one, I think is, for Periscopers, is going to solve some of those problems. And the power of being able to have a channel that is your channel, the URL doesn't change, and you can do the playlist. When I heard you say that, it was just like, wow, this is amazing.
And for those that are Periscopers that are looking at this, I have a podcasting microphone, just a simple snowball. But the interesting part is I have no headphones on. I'm using my speaker to play it to my Periscope audience, which is right here. And I'm getting no interference, no backlog. It's not coming through my microphone. So the audio quality is at such high rate that they're actually not picking up the reverse of yours through my podcasting mic, which is perfect because some of the problems with the Skype side and things is that you all of a sudden can hear the other person come through the other person's microphone and speaker, and then you're getting feedback and you can't keep the speakers on to give that value to Periscope.
Okay, so since you're going to Periscope headquarters, just 90 minutes away from where I am, so I've got something to ask. I've got a feature request. So I don't know if it's like you drive around, you're driving, you see a notification, and you bring up the Periscope. You don't want to actually watch it while you're driving. That's bad. That is total bad news. You don't want to do that. But I just wonder, what if there was an audio button where you could at least click an audio button at a lower data rate and get the audio feed of a Periscope? Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be, and Blab, the nice thing about Blab is when you click into a Blab to listen, when you get out of the app, it actually still plays the audio for you unless you actually eject. So I do that same thing in the Blabs. I actually click it on my phone, put my headphones in, and then just click off the app and lock my phone, and I can still listen to the entire Blabs. That would be a great feature of Periscope. And even the fact that a lot of people have been asking me very recently, well, Brian, can you put your Periscopes in iTunes form? And I'm like, well, I do a lot of engagement, welcoming the fans. I'm showing stuff on there, and they're like, we don't care. We want to consume the content in our ear because we're with our kids, or we're doing something that doesn't allow us to watch the video or take up the data rate or sit on Wi-Fi. I think it's a great feature. I think that might just have to be mentioned when I'm sitting with the team tomorrow. Yeah,
the other thing that I know affects a lot of people is what is going on with the way that the camera picks the exposure. I've seen people looking like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I emailed them several times. I finally got a very brief reply that does admit that they disable some of the camera features to be able to do that. But oh my gosh, that it would be so important to be able to at least set an iris that works so you don't look like Casper the Ghost.
No, I agree. Or even allow you, like My Eye allows you to hot swap the filters live in the stream. So all of a sudden, if you go from outside to inside, you can actually switch the filter, and it'll actually kind of adapt that. And you can do that I think, for me, all of these live streaming apps really need to work better at allowing personalization and customization from the streamer perspective, right? Like I want to be able to change my title in the middle of Periscope because let's be honest, half the time I get down a rabbit hole and all of a sudden I start talking about something. I go, oh man, these poor people that jumped in here for personal branding advice and are listening to my rant about, cloud computing and the future of technology. And it's like, I want to be able to change, like that personalization. I've also talked a lot because the trolling, and I want to be able to, the ability to give someone the ability to make it like a PG-13 Periscope, and therefore there's certain words that are blocked from every single comment, no matter what. And it doesn't have to be, everyone has the choice to turn that feature on. But if I want to advocate this at a school, and I tell these teenagers that are high schoolers to tell their story, I want them to be able to hit a PG-13 button because there's some words that should just never be mentioned, and giving us that control and ability would help at least let people know that Periscope cares about those kind of things. So I think that pieces would be some really nice.
All right. They're going to have to hire some more programmers after you get out of there.
Yeah, I know. It's always trouble on that side.
I'll let you go now, but Brian, you bring such incredible value to Periscope and what you're doing with brands and helping us think through the big picture. I tend to be more focused on stuff. And you've got the big picture view that just, I think, benefits everybody so much. So thanks for all you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Cheers. So for everyone that's watching, so when you sign up, when you log into Fire Talk, it actually does an authentication. Periscope Summit's in the house. It actually does an authentication and allows you for me to see, hey, Rachel Miller is in here. Happy birthday, Miss Rachel Miller. Rachel Miller's birthday today, my co-host on Social Business Hour. So I'm going to jump Vanessa in here. But when you actually authenticate on Fire Talk, it gives you a username, and you have to subscribe to my channel, and then I can add you in. So I can search from your username once you're on here. And so remember, for everybody, if you swipe left on Periscope, you can actually see the URL here. But for those of you that are too lazy to do that, it's firetalk.com/iSocialTalks. Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm one of these low-tech people. So sorry, it's daylight, it's morning, it's good morning from Australia. So
I love it. It's a global.
This is I'm one of those people. It's interesting. Thanks for popping it out on Periscope, because otherwise I wouldn't have known about it.
That's what, for me, I'm trying to, bridge the audience, let people know about it, and really, I don't care, like I tell this a lot, but I have no skin in the game. It doesn't matter to me which app you use, how you use it, where you use it, when you use it. But I try really hard to let people know of what the app options are, where they can do things. So I appreciate that, because that's why, some people are like, you have it on Periscope, but you're not engaging. And I am trying to engage. I have the screen right here. But, for me, it's a little bit of, kind of cross promotion and letting people knowing what's going on.
Well, I'm definitely with you on that. Like, for me personally, I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. I've seen Blab, I got it on Blab, I understand it, but I'm totally agreeing with everyone's comments that the user, like the everyday person, they're like, what? They're just getting their heads around Periscope, just that, let alone anything else. But regardless, my biggest thing with the whole split screen thing, I'm a low-tech lady, because a lot of the people I deal with are low-tech things. So I need options that they can easily do and won't feel overwhelmed with and everything like that. And the only reason I'm not on Meerkat is because all the people that I know and that I'm targeting aren't on Meerkat. That's the only reason. I know it exists, and I put it out there for people to, hey, go for it if that's your thing. It's like me saying, go on Pinterest, go on this, go on this, go on this, but only on the immediate, get the words out, only on the mediums that work for you. Thing.
Yep.
So
I always say
it's not for everyone, but hey.
Yeah, and I always talk about providing value is all relative to your audience, and value is not gauged by you, the person that's creating the content. It's actually gauged by the audience you have. So it's not only going where your audience is, but customizing the content, the delivery to how they want to consume it, right? And I think that's part of this conversation. And it's funny for me because I look at Blab as my home for collaborative conversation, but it never once has replaced one Periscope. I've done, every time I'm doing a Periscope, it's for a different delivery, a different value, a different kind of content, and my end game is different. And I think of it the same thing with Fire Talk. I don't plan on Fire Talk being something that would replace the way I'm using Blab, because I have a co-host and I have guests, and co-host with guests would not work in Fire Talk. But if I'm doing a one-on-one interview that I want to broadcast maybe directly to YouTube immediately with high quality audio, high quality video, Fire Talk's my answer. So that's kind of where I look at these kind of pieces coming across. But no, I love it. Thanks so much for jumping on.
I'll pop out. Get Brittany on. This will be interesting. And Brittany from Blabs coming over to the competition.
Brittany's awesome. I would love to see, I don't know, Brittany, if you want to jump on, but I'm happy to bring you on. And like I said, I'm kicking the tires. It's my first stream on this platform. Never been on before, but it's my, just got on today. This is a new feature. Fire Talk just released it today. The press release just went out here. You guys can see it on Periscope. Here's the press release. I can show you. Here, I'll put the press release in the notes here. Brian, I'm connected via phone in the streets of New York. All right. Oh, yeah. Hey, Suitcase is in the house. What's up, Suitcase? Ben, you're my 50th subscriber. Thanks, guys, for subscribing to my channel and sharing it to the Twitters. Much appreciated. I see that Rachel shared it out. I see Emil shared it out. Mr. Longfellow shared it out. Mr. Vincenzo Landino. So hello, everybody on Periscope as well. So let's see. Trauma Monkeys. How's it going, Trauma Monkeys? How are you? Welcome. Brian, is Fire Talk the same as Go Live with claim your channel tweets being blasted? No, it is not. So Fire Talk is a channel-based, so it's not the same as Go Live. It's also not the same as, what's the other one that I used a long time ago? It was the first one with widescreen. So this is more of a community-based, less of a just a broadcasting location. So it kind of goes twofold. If I subscribe through Twitter, I will have notifications there so everybody can see. No, so you subscribe through the Fire Talk side of the house, not through through Twitter itself. So Twitter, you follow me and you get all my tweets, which is a lot, and I know that. But can you do screen sharing on it? Oh, no, I don't know. I don't think you can do screen sharing because I can't see. Let's see. No, I can't. I don't think there is screen sharing ability here. But this is a new app. It's a new feature. It just came out. It's called Fire Talk. Like I said, I'm not here to tell you which app is better. I'm here to talk about the features, the benefits, and the possible use cases that I see for the platforms. I'm not getting paid by Blab. I'm not getting paid by Periscope. I'm not getting paid by any of these channels to be have skin in the game. I'm trying more to actually provide you the options. One of the nice benefits, if you're just tuning in with Fire Talk, is that it gives you the ability to give a permanent URL and a channel landing page. Therefore, when you show up to this page and I'm not live at that moment, you can go on and watch a YouTube video or a trailer or something that I presented. Unlike when you go to periscope.tv/iSocialFans, the only thing you see there is the list of the channels. There isn't any other content available for you. So you're unfortunately kind of stuck there watching it from a different channel if I'm not live. So definitely a little bit interesting on that side. So is there anybody else that's in the comments here that wants to jump on real quick, kick the tires before I jump off to get on another call? But I think this was a pretty good, interesting first use case of this. I plan on doing a couple more Fire Talks over the next couple of weeks, testing out different value, testing out different pieces, different things, different people using this. So check it out. You can do private ones of these. So you can actually do a private one-to-one conversation with somebody and interview privately that they have to get the unique URL and it's not promoted on the Fire Talk page or that side. So that is all I have. Thank you guys for tuning in on Fire Talk. Thank you for tuning in on Periscope. My name is Brian Fanzo, better known as iSocialFans. Check out my website. I have a list of all of my tools, all of my features, everything that I use, all my tripods is now up on my website, thinklikeafan.video. Thinklikeafan.video. If you go to thinklikeafan.video, it's going to give you a pop-up. After you get the pop-up, you get full ungated access to my content, which is my list of all of my gear. You'll also get a list of all of my resources that I have, which is all of my different links. It also is going to give you the events. It's going to give you some of the slide shares that I have. It's going to give you some of the blog posts that I've written. So if you do me the special of going out there, if it matters to you, thinklikeafan.video, and I would appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will let you know next time I'm doing a Fire Talk. It will be probably in the next week or so. Try this out. New technology, new frame. Till then, find a way to show you care. Go above and beyond to make a difference. Tell someone thank you, because remember, it's about people. And they'll remember that you care about them, that you created an experience, and you went out of your way to show you care. That's what social's all about.